Northwest Liberty News, picking the lock on the shackles of tyranny.
Machines are gonna fail, and the system's gonna fail.
The past is past, the future's now.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Sometimes trouble just follows a man.
There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus.
Can't you stop your lips from flapping for 2 little minutes?
It's because I'm white.
I'm a man. I'm sensitive. I need to feel loved. I need to be desired.
I'm rapidly becoming a big underground success in this town.
It's a question of methods. Everybody wants results, but nobody wants to do what they have to do to get them done.
And now, coming to you live from Kalispell, Montana, brought to you by Northwest Liberty News, it's Montana Gazette Radio with your host, James White. Okay, I'm indeed your host, James White. This is Montana Gazette Radio. Thanks so much for joining me here on this afternoon, this later show that I'm used to putting out here, 3 p.m. this afternoon. I was pardon me, was on the road yesterday doing some recon and some photos for the upcoming really big expose piece that I have going on here that involves quite a few people. That is, it's an absolute travesty. It's an absolute travesty of justice here in the Flathead Valley, and I was working on that yesterday, and have another article I'll be launching here, hopefully getting it done today from an interview I did yesterday with Tracy Sebra here in Montana, who was victimized, a victim of domestic abuse, and then a victim of the system. It never ends. It's ongoing. The battle against tyranny and to maintain our liberty and constitutional freedoms is an ongoing thing. We can never take any time off, sadly, because someone's always out there trying to take it from us. Today's the 4th day of February. If I said that already, I apologize. 2021. I'm your host, James White, and if everything's working properly, we should be on a couple of Facebook pages, LinkedIn, Twitch, 3 Facebook pages, 2 YouTube pages, and Podbean, and D Live. So we appreciate you tuning into all those different stations. Just trying to get the word out the best we can. Been taking these videos and uploading them to Rumble, the Rumble account, as often as I can remember to and have time to do. So I have a Rumble account there as well. You can check it out there. Well, today I'm going to go over a couple of things, and a couple of things I think that are curious. I just got some recent photographs in, and I thought some of them were very interesting. But the first ones I want to talk about here are right from here in Kalispell. So I want to preface this first. By reading this to you. This was sent to me by a friend of mine. Just saw a bunch of uniformed troops at Homewood Suites in town, changed into civilian clothes. Now, the guy that's writing this to me used to be a Marine, so he's familiar with these things. They're at the Homewood Suites in town, changed into civilian clothes, large Pelican cases. My friend saw them checking out their rifles inside the cases out in the parking lot and took a picture. I saw them only in their civvies. Not all look military, but a bunch did. May not be anything or in transit. Something may be about to go down somewhere. I took very bad pics and video. My friend got some too. An armored car with no plates in their parking lot with the red and blue law enforcement lights. FYI, I just thought I'd share it with you. So this is the information that came to me from my pal, what I just read to you. And then he followed it up with these photographs here that he sent over to me. This is here from Kalispell in the Homewood Suites, apparently. And I think that's up there by Costco. That may be Costco, as a matter of fact, right there in the background. That may be Costco, that very building that you see is the Costco, I think, maybe in downtown. And here is apparently some other shots of them. I don't know if is that a federal license plate? I can't tell. It doesn't look like a Montana license plate to me. I can't tell what it is, what it says, but it doesn't look like a Montana plate that I'm aware of. But, you're in a hotel parking lot, there's all different kinds of plates. And here is these guys afterwards, apparently, putting their stuff back in their truck. So I don't know what that means. I know it means that there's some eyewitness accounts of some troop-type fellows in Kalispell. And again, this is what you hear going around the rumor mill right now. And this was reported in the foreign press that the military is going to be taking over the airwaves and all across the country tomorrow evening. Now, what that leads me to believe is it's probably not going to happen, because anytime you hear dates and times, that means it's usually not going to happen. I mean, usually. So that's probably disinformation. Just giving you what I'm hearing. Don't know. Again, we've stated before in this program numerous times. If I know what's going on and you know what's going on, the people that are actually planning what's really going on are doing a really bad job if we can figure that stuff out. So anyway, all I'm saying is what we're hearing is tomorrow, apparently, there's supposed to be the military is finally going to come down and bring the hammer down on these people. Now, 2 or 3 people have reported on, and I haven't paid for the service yet. Apparently, there's a person that does videos on BitChute, and I don't remember what her name is. But it's been reported by 2 or 3 different sources that she was actually paid the money to get inside whatever website gives you the arrest records, and she had shown on the screen arrest records of some high caliber people. I didn't see it myself, and I'm just giving you some of the things that we're hearing here. I have another, and the reason I brought that up, only reason I brought that up, is we see these troop-like people here in town. Could just be passing through, like they said. Could mean nothing. Could mean absolutely nothing. Just came to me right before the show. Thought I'd share it with you. I don't know what it means, if anything. Another photo that I received, which I thought was a little bit odd. Well, not odd. I don't know what to make of it unless it's photoshopped. But here's the premise behind this. And again, they can do some amazing things with Photoshop these days. But what we're understanding is that what we're seeing on a camera is not really what's going on. Like, we're being fed images of things that aren't real. Apparently, again, this is the image that I received. This is what really looks like here at the Capitol building. They're removing these upper parts here and getting to the underground tunneling system that runs underneath DC, where, of course, all kinds of heinous things are alleged to go on. I don't know. I just received this photo here today, a little earlier today. I am not an expert to be able to tell if things are photoshopped or not photoshopped. I don't know. We have heard, and I did actually I did a show about, I started doing some research on all the tunnel systems around the world and major cities. And there is no doubt that all these major cities across the world have vast tunnel systems under them. A lot of them do. A lot of them have these underground tunnels, and who knows where they all go to. They all go to different various spots and places, but there are, if you just do the research, it's not that hard to find. If you look it up, well, these days it's hard to find anything, research anything, because of the fact that everything is pretty much buried. But research this stuff for yourself. And am I claiming that these photos are true? Nope, don't know. Not there. Didn't take the photo myself. But But I do trust the person that sent me the photos about the military ones I sent you. I believe that those, of course, those, I mean, just literally hot off the press, received them right before the show. So, and my friend's not the kind of guy that would doctor photos and send them to me anyway. So pretty sure that those are going to be, those are legitimate and authentic. Pretty positive, as a matter of fact, that they are. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if there's other troop movements. I've been getting reports from some internet bloggers that some troop movements over their house, helicopters especially, are picking up and are becoming, more. These helicopter movements are becoming more prevalent. Don't know. I just don't know. Let me go here and kick off the. See if there's anybody in there. There are. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes this darn restream, it doesn't launch the same actual live link that it does when I put out the preview for the link. So I send out the show preview. It gives a link to the show, and then when the actual show starts, it's a completely different link. It's really kind of frustrating, but I appreciate you hanging on. I see there are people in the chat room. Thanks so much. Appreciate you looking in today, and just rules of the chat room like there are the phone line. You don't have to agree with the host here. Just be respectful and don't be abusive, and don't use foul language. We're not really a vulgar type of show here. We don't really play that. Homie, don't play that, as they say. I'm waiting for a call back, by the way, from Gene Pringle. I think we're going to have Gene Pringle on tomorrow for Freedom Friday. And then I might even be able to get Teresa Manzella on the show here. We've been trying to get Teresa Manzella. She's very busy doing her work there at the Capitol, the state Capitol. We've been kind of trying to get back and forth together on the texting to try to set up a time. If you're not familiar with Teresa Manzella here, she's one of the great legislators here in Montana. Real patriot, and we had her on the show numerous times. We're trying to get her on tomorrow to get caught up on some of this legislation that's going on here. We'll see if we can, but I know tomorrow at noon we are having another round table with Jason and Dave and Kelly. We're going to have another round table. It should be a 2-hour show with the live call-in. So mark that on your calendar. Tomorrow at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, we will be back here on the show. There has been some really important legislation I know here recently, some right to life legislation, and I'm not really sure. I know that the votes, if I remember correctly, the votes went on this morning. And someone's calling me. The votes went out this morning. I should say the legislation went before, don't know if it went before the House or before the Senate this morning. I think maybe the Senate even. And some right to life, pro-life type legislation here. And, we're going to have a great chance here in Montana. I think we passed the open carry. Seth Bergley, Representative Seth Bergley, who's been on the broadcast here a couple times, I believe that he submitted a really good Second Amendment bill that I believe got through. So there's some really good things. Thanks, Russell. There's some really good things going on here in Montana, but like anywhere else, there's for some reason there's always people trying to foil the plan. I mean, they got their own plan, and sometimes it's self-serving, and there's always some of those people that make their way into government, and what are you going to do? Yeah, you just have to continue to charge forward, and try to get good legislation passed. Now one of the things that was just a travesty was, I believe, in the 2018 session, Dr. Al Olszewski, who's been here on the broadcast 10 times, maybe if not more, he put together the Baby Born Alive Act, and he was trying to save babies that were born and survived abortions. They could be saved, and that got shot down by our former governor, and I think that this time it's going to be going through. So if you're a child here, if you're a woman who's pregnant, or you're a child that is being really being formed in the womb of a mother here in Montana, you have a much better chance of living now than I think you did before, which is it's a good thing. And there's some states now I know that have completely outlawed it totally. And my thoughts on that are, if you want to, put the child up for adoption, for crying out loud. I mean, it's not the child's fault. I don't want to get down that debate here, but we can certainly call people on and have that debate if we need to. But I really don't know if there's much of a debate that needs to be had. Children deserve a chance to live. I don't know how anybody could debate it any differently. At any rate, that's my view, and that's always been my view, and it's never changed, and never will. I'm for life. I'm for life. I'm not for death. Those people on the other side are for death. They're merchants of death. And you can see there's a whole wing of the financial system that benefits from disaster capital. When other people feel pain, they profit. They profit from other people's pain, and they do it lovingly. And they know they do it, too. It's not like it's by accident. It's like, oh, man, I didn't know. Oh, no. Nope, they knew. They know, and they'll continue to do it as long as we let them. I'm going to take a quick break here, and when I come back on the other side, we're going to go over and hit Montana Daily Gazette. Check out some of the articles that have been published on there recently. Got a great staff over there that does a great job writing articles and putting together their pictures and images and all kinds of stuff. So we're delighted to be associated with them over there at Montana Daily Gazette. And as I said, we're going to head over there and check them out after we get back from these brief messages. If you want to support this broadcast, you can do so by supporting our sponsors. They're floating along the bottom of the screen there. Or you can go right to northwestlibertynews.com and click on the Support Independent News button to help us that way. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back after these brief messages. I'm your host, James White, Montana Gazette Radio. If you like classic cars, exceptional service, and a money-back guarantee, then the Corner Shop in beautiful downtown Kalispell is the place for you. Whether it's an oil change, engine diagnostic, suspension work, or brakes all around, the Corner Shop has you covered. With expert technicians and a free consultation on all services, you can't go wrong with the Corner Shop. Did I mention the classic cars? While you're waiting for your expert service to be performed, take a stroll through the showroom to see Kalispell's smoothest collection of classic cars. The Corner Shop is conveniently located at 1212 South Main, just south of the courthouse. The Corner Shop is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., so drop by for an appointment or call 755-7777. That's 755-7777. The Corner Shop, Kalispell's full-service auto repair facility. So it looks like once again I forgot to load that second commercial in. For crying out loud. What am I going to learn? Thanks for joining me here on the broadcast after my one commercial break. That should have been two, but I just have to make myself a note and change that next time for the next show. Thanks so much for joining me here in the broadcast. I'm your host, James White. And I guess what I can say is if you are still short some of your storable food needs or some of your water filtration needs or seeds, as a matter of fact, we got the seeds. We have seeds and they're available. You can go to patriotprepared.com, patriotprepared.com. Right now we're running a special on the big packages. If you want to get food for your whole family, you can save a lot of dough and get free shipping too. So check it out over at patriotprepared.com. That's patriotprepared.com. And all your purchases on patriotprepared.com directly help this independent news network. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to hop on over here to Montana Daily Gazette, and we're going to check out what they got going on over here. Here's a couple of reposts that I posted earlier. Not sure if you're familiar with this wonderful thing they got going on here about the the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention went into effect Wednesday that requires individuals to wear a mask while in public transportation or transportation hubs. So if you go to the original article here from WorldNet Daily, you see the feds to enforce a new mask order through criminal penalties. That's right, criminal penalties for not wearing a mask. I mean, did you folks see the law that I laid down here from the Supreme Court the other day? I'm gonna do a full show on that. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to find some information. Let's just put it that way. Trying to find some information about some of these local entities, and I'm going to put those next to the Supreme Court decision that I talked about. Oh, I don't know, 1 or 2 shows ago, that states. I checked it out. I mean, it's not like someone sent me something on the internet and I just said, oh, I'm going to go with it. Nope. I went and looked at the Supreme Court rulings, the official Supreme Court rulings, and verified exactly what was sent to me was absolutely true. And what it stated was, anytime the government, the county, police force, anybody adopts the role of a corporation, once they become incorporated, they have no more power than any other corporation. They render any power to enforce anything against you. It renders them impotent. They have no jurisdiction to do any of this stuff. None of it. And your state's incorporated, your county's incorporated, your city's incorporated. Many of your municipalities are incorporated. CPS is incorporated. Anytime, again, folks, I read the Supreme Court ruling, and I don't have it at my fingertips here. I didn't plan on talking about it specifically, but I showed the ruling, and I went to the actual website a couple days ago. I don't know when it was, but it says on there specifically, if any of these city, county, state, any of them assume the status of a corporation, they have no more power over you than Walmart Corporation does, or McDonald's Corporation. I mean, think about it. In the McDonald's car pulling you over and Ronald and Grimace giving you a ticket because it's just about the same. It's just about the same. Might as well. This isn't me saying it. This is Supreme Court ruling saying it. Once they adopt the role of a corporation, they're treated like any other corporation. They know that. But they know you don't know that. That's why they continue to commit crimes. It's because that's what it is. We're color of law. They're operating under color of law. And I've done a special on the color of law as well. Not special, but I did a show on the color of law. I think if you just go to YouTube, my channel, and type in color of law, you'll see the show I did on color of law. I may have done more than one. It points out what color of law is. They operate under color of law because they act like they have lawful right to do what they do, but they don't. And if you happen to find that color of law episode that I did, or someone else, doesn't have to be from me, others have done it as well, you'll see that the penalty for operating under color of law can be death, life imprisonment, or death, especially if someone's harmed while you're operating under color of law. You can receive the death penalty for that. Again, don't believe anything that I say. Everything I just told you, don't believe it. Look it up yourself, and you'll see that. Well, just look up yourself. Don't believe it. When I tell you that it's true, don't believe me. Just look it up. And I would humbly submit that you look at the previous videos to get the information. And it was like a 1946 Supreme Court ruling. I don't pretend to have a mind like Ron Gibson or Gene Pringle, if he's on tomorrow. These people can cite this stuff. I mean, like I cite the ABCs. I mean, these people know these statutes and the names of the people involved and the cases and everything. You know, I just don't have that. I just don't have that. That's not what I do. But these guys do. The stuff that they send is true. So just letting you know, this is what we got going on here, especially with the masks telling you that you can't breathe properly. I mean, they're restricting your ability to breathe. This whole thing on its face is all just fraudulent. They have no jurisdiction over you to tell you this. The CDC has no jurisdiction over you. You show me the contract that you made with CDC. Can someone, all law is contract law, right? Isn't that what it's stated? All law is contract law. Where's the contract that you have with CDC or that I have with CDC that allows them to run us and to rule our life? Because we have to volunteer into that. You have to sign away your rights to be taken over by someone like CDC. They have no jurisdiction over you. None. They act like they do, and they continue to operate like they do because no one stops them. Seriously, folks. No one stops them. Again, I did a special on the 12 presumptions of the Roman court. Every time you go into the court, these 12 presumptions are presumed against you until you refute them. It's presumed to be accurate until you say no. That's not accurate. That's not true. That's not who I am. Until you do that, it's presumed that you are affected by those. You see, it's all a trick. It's all a con job. It's all wordsmith. It's all just twisting words around, right? And putting them in different order so you can't really tell. You need lawyers to figure stuff out who are the ones that wrote it in the first place to continue to keep you confused. It doesn't have to be that confusing. All these things don't have to be that confusing. They really don't. They really don't. But they're made that way to keep you trapped in a broken system of fraud. A broken system of fraud. And all of this fraud is starting to come out. All of it. It's all coming out. On the way. On the way, folks. Coming up. They can't stop it now. Just think even now. Even of your own self, right? I don't even know who's watching this or who will watch it. This is something you're going to have to take a personal account of. But just think about the last 4 years. How much you know now and how much you knew 4 years ago. Now, you may be a PhD or have a Harvard education. You may have been a smart person then and a smart person now. I'm talking about how the world really works. I'm talking about the real truth of what goes on that's barely ever presented to us. How about that in the last 4 years? How high is your IQ raised in that arena? I'm sure quite a bit. Probably some of these things you never even thought you would even talk about. I mean, are you familiar with adrenochrome? Did you ever even think you'd even have a conversation about that? Or even talk about that? Or have that in your lexicon? Probably not. But it is now. People talk about it now all the time. That's just one example. Let's get back to this website here. Let me open this up. Sorry for the darkness. There we go. So what they're going to do is they're going to, I guess, start putting out criminal penalties for people that don't wear a mask. So, and how long are they going to do that for? That's the big question. How long do you expect that they're going to do that for? How long do you think they're going to keep this mask thing up? How long do you think that you're going to get all these dirty looks when you walk into restaurants and you don't have a mask? How long do you think that's going to keep going on? As long as we let it. That's the simple answer. As long as we allow it. As long as we allow it to keep happening, it's going to keep happening. Evil doesn't take a break. They don't give you a quarter. They don't take a rest. They don't have compassion. They don't care. Their mission to destroy this country and subject you to slavery continues to march forward daily, regularly. While you're sitting back, taking a breather, They're plowing forward. It's true. Wish I was wrong, but leave that up to you. Another article we published here a little earlier. Of course, you know this always happens. Biden administration responsible for record gun sales in January. They're responsible, all right. With all, I mean, you look at Obama; he was one of the biggest arms sellers in the country, and Biden has actually broken his record. This is, according to FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check data, 4.3 million firearm background checks were initiated in January. That's the highest number on record, and up over 300,000 in comparison to December 2020. 3 of the top 10 highest weeks are now from January 2021. 3 of the top 10 highest weeks of gun sales ever have been 3 out of the last 4 weeks. Because there's 4 weeks in January, typically. 3 out of the last, it says 3 of the top 10 highest weeks are now from January. So if there's only 4 weeks in January, it's got to be 3 out of 4. What a gun salesman. I mean, if you've got gun stock, boy, I tell you, you're loving life. Because anytime these fascists get in charge, gun sales go to the moon. Gun sales go to the moon. Because people don't want to be taken over by some tyrant. People don't want slavery. They want freedom. They want freedom. I mean, why don't these knuckleheads that are running things, why don't they get them down? Don't they know this? Don't they know that people reject tyranny? They reject slavery. They reject it. They want freedom. They want independence. That's what they want. What you want doesn't matter. It's what they want. It really is. And I think it's becoming more and more apparent now that there are many, many people inside our so-called ruling class that are in bed with the Chinese. And who are they being run by? Typically, it always goes back to either the Vatican or City of London. I mean, it's just the way the world works, folks. I mean, there's a big club and we're not in it. And it operates the world. Now, they've been taking some serious lumps, and I think that their operations are about to end. And I've said this on the show numerous times. And the reason I state this is because of all of the stuff that's happened and everything that you see coming out now. I mean, let's just try to pull ourselves away from the day-to-day grind and just think for 1 second. You know that there's still like fencing and barbed wire and thousands of troops still around Washington, D.C. there, the Capitol, the White House, all that. I mean, thousands of troops, and it's all fenced and barbed wired up. I mean, folks, we can't just ignore this. What in the heck is going on? Something is going on, and it's not to protect the current Congress from Trump supporters. Okay, we know this, right? You saw how Trump supporters can descend upon a city, and a lot of times it looks cleaner than it was before they showed up. Unlike some of the other groups that have showed up in some of these cities, where we have nothing but smoldering ashes and destroyed lives in their wake. But we have when MAGA people, if you want to call them that, or conservatives come through town, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They know that and the whole thing is, with the Capitol Hill thing, come on. We see now what that was. I want to say they had video of these guys changing into, they had literal video of these changing out of their Antifa clothes into Trump supporter clothes and, heading up towards the Capitol building. I saw the video. You can believe it or not. But why all this security? For who? There's nobody there. If what I'm understanding is like you have to go through checkpoints even to get close. Who's going to bring anything in there? I mean, if there's 25,000 troops, I don't even know how many there is now. I know some have went out, some have come back. Not come back, but they're cycling them through. I don't know how many standing, I say troops, National Guard, kind of troops. I mean, I don't know how many are standing right now, consistently. But there's way more than necessary for the amount of people, which is practically none, that are there. I mean, 100 National Guard could hold back the non-existent people that are there. I mean, I think somebody with a cannon, and a really big, mean-looking horse and a sword could probably hold off the people that are there. I mean, there's no one there. What's with all the security? What are they really doing in there? Don't know. Something's not right, though. I saw a video, probably saw the video too. Again, I don't know what these videos mean. So it means something, but I don't know specifically what it means. But I saw the video of Nancy Pelosi closing down the legislative session or hitting the gavel. And moments later, they had the split screen. Bunch of cop cars or police vehicles, whatever it was, come streaming in towards the Capitol building. Do I know what that means? Nope. Does it seem odd to you? Well, how come the mainstream, quote unquote, mainstream news is not reporting that stuff? What the heck's going on? Police rushing towards our nation's capital, our former nation's capital. I don't see how they can keep up the show much longer. And again, folks, I don't know the answer to some of these things. I don't know the answer to some of these. I'm an observer in many cases, just like you. I mean, I see what you see in a lot of ways. I sent out a video earlier where this guy had an overview shot, an aerial shot of the Amazon studios, the Amazon White House studios. I guess Amazon Studios has a whole replica of the Capitol grounds. And then somebody had like a drone footage of the Capitol grounds, and they compared it to that one video, the other video I sent out where the reporters kind of rushed into the Oval Office and Joe Biden was just sitting there. I don't know if you saw that one. But he showed the two videos in contrast, and you could see some of the same architecture that was at the, some of this. I mean, you just looked at it, and plus this red building that flashes across that video. You see that same red building at the Amazon thing. Could someone doctor these videos? Yeah, they could. Regardless. Some strange stuff is going on. Nothing like normal. Nothing like normal is going on. Why in the world? I mean, just think about it for 1 second. If nothing else, then Donald Trump apparently has lost the election, right? He's no longer a candidate, yet they're spending time to go after him to impeach him. They won. They won, right? They won. Their guy won. They won it all. They cheated their way right into positions of power. Why would you worry about it? Right? When you win the race, if you're a stock car racer and you win the race, you don't go to the runner-ups press conference and mock them. No, you win. You're there. You're a champion, right? You're raising your fist in the air. I win. Right? What are these people doing? They're going after the runner-up and trying to eliminate him from racing ever again. Well, it's not a one-to-one analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Why would they care? If they won, move on. Something's not right. Just not right. Again, I don't know what it is. But I sure would like to know, and I got a feeling we're all going to know. We're all going to know at some point. When, I don't know. Can't do dates. It's a losing proposition because there's fake dates put out there specifically to, throw a fly in the ointment, if you will. So, excuse me, not doing the date thing, but I will say that there's something going to happen because there's too much strange stuff going on for there not to. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. I mean, it's the oddest time in the world that I've ever lived in this world. It's oddest. It's odd. It's just odd. A lot of odd stuff going on. Perhaps you feel the same way. All right, let me open up let me go here to the Montana Daily Gazette here. And, oh yeah, so the record gun sales, this is good. This is a good thing. We like that. Tester lying about supporting the Keystone Pipeline. John Tester, the other senator here in Montana, he's lying about supporting the Keystone and is trying hard to kill Montana jobs. Well, of course he is. He's a liberal. Of course he'd want to kill Montana jobs. You say, oh, come on, man, he's a Montanan. Yeah, you understand, these people's loyalties they're not loyal to you as a Montanan. They hate you. They hate you. They hate you. You're in their way. Right? You're an impediment to their power because you could vote them out at some point, right? So, yeah, I mean, this whole entire thing is a scam. The whole thing. Everything that they do, the way that they lord over us, the way that they fine us and cause us to be permitted, we have to get a permit for everything and all. And I've covered some of this stuff before. Our founding fathers didn't envision that you would have to go to the government and get a certificate to catch a fish. This is not how they planned things. Nope. Not how it was planned by our forefathers. But that's what it turned into, and way worse than that. And way worse than that. So how do you like these? You don't like apples? How do you like these apples? Biden's signature is forged on executive orders, likely by Jill Biden. This is from a couple days ago. It's all about power with these folks. It doesn't matter who they have to hurt. It doesn't matter what documents they have to forge. Look at Seth Rich. What happened to that poor guy? I sure hope and pray that Seth Rich, and many others, I sure hope and pray that Seth Rich gets the justice that is deserved to him, posthumously. Apparently all that stuff's going to have to be released within 3 months. Now, the feds have supposedly supposed to have released things in a timely manner in the past, and they just don't do it because no one holds them to task for it. They just do what they want to do, and no one arrest. How long did they hold back like Tom Fitton? I mean, Tom Fitton actually won in court and went before the judge and won in court. And Tom Fitton, by the way, man, the guy does a great job revealing things, for sure. Hard-working guy, and he would get court rulings to release information, and they would just ignore him. Just ignore him. They just ignore him and say, we ain't doing it. Well, you perp walk some of these people out in front of everybody and throw them in the back of a cop car and take them and strip them of their badge and their gun, put them on suspension and prosecute them for crimes against the Constitution and against their oath. You do that, I don't know, half dozen times, maybe 10 times. That stuff's going to stop. Word's going to get around. Hey, listen, we can't continue to fleece the folks and to commit crimes against people anymore because they're watching now. I published an article here, one in Montana Daily Gazette and one in Northwest Liberty News about the crooked FBI here in Montana. It's everywhere, folks. It's everywhere. Corruption is everywhere in every institution. Any chance that there's a opportunity for corruption to take hold, it usually does. Because good people just want to live their life and they don't want to, they want to go home, be with their family, and enjoy time with their children, and they don't want to sit around and be super sleuths and trying to make sure that they're not being people aren't being corrupt at work and doing wherever. I mean, so they get away with it. They get away with it, and they've got away with it for a long time, and they will continue to get away with it until we stop allowing them to. Same thing with the masks. People will continue to badger you for wearing a mask. I mean, even here in Kalispell, my friend and I went to go out to try a different place for breakfast. We go out every week, typically, and we wanted to try a different place. Wouldn't let us in without a mask. So we said, okay, we're not coming in, and I'll never go back to that place again. Bojangles Restaurant here in Kalispell. Never go back to them again. Never again, because I had to wear a mask from the front door to the table that was like 12 feet away. I had to wear a mask between the front door and the table 12 feet away. But then I could take it off once I sat down. But when I stood up and walked the 12 feet back to the door, I had to have my mask on again. Because germs don't hover around tables when people are sitting. Because we know this. This is scientist. This is scientific. What I just said is scientifically provable that germs don't, especially tables at diners. There's no germs on tables at diners, especially if you're sitting down. That's a scientific fact. Of course, I'm joking. It's ridiculous. It's preposterous. Preposterous. I mean, that's the word that comes to my mind every time I see it. Preposterous. Just stop. Just stop. Stop wearing them. Just stop. Even if you caught it, it's like a 99.5% survivable. So you got a bad cold for a couple of days, for crying out loud. Okay? Or you got flu-like symptoms. All right. Okay. Nope. Everybody's got to be masked up. And you're the bad guy for not. And the vaccines, of course, they're charging forward with that hard as they can. Now American Airlines has just stated that they're going to require, I want to say it's required, you're required to have a negative vaccine test before you can fly internationally. You're required to produce one within 2 days before you can fly internationally. And that's what they'll do. They'll start out that way. They always start out, of course, it's for people's health. It's always this altruistic, motivation behind everything they do. It's for the benefit of people. Let me tell you something. If it benefited you, they wouldn't allow you to do it. They wouldn't allow you to. If masks saved your life, they would forbid you to wear one. They would call you an outlaw if you wore a mask and arrest you for wearing a mask. The whole script would be flipped. It would. The story I said earlier about them arresting you for not wearing a mask, if it worked and it really saved you and protected you against disease, they would arrest you for wearing one. Mark, I'm telling you, folks, if you don't think that's how it operates, step back a minute and see. Look, just take a look. This is how they roll. It's all up here. That's where the battle is. It's all here. Here. It's all here. Don't let them take it. Don't let them take that ground. Because once you let them take that ground, it's really, really hard to get it back. It's really hard. Because when they take that ground, you start thinking, well, I have to admit I'm wrong. And then that means that, what I've stood for is wrong. And then you don't want to be wrong. And then your pride gets in the way. And then you start defending. You start defending it. Even though you know it's wrong, but you defend it because you don't want to admit you're wrong. And then just you start the vicious cycle. Don't let them capture that ground between your ears. That's their most valuable That's their prize. That's the prize. That's the prize for them. They want you, and they've done a good job. They've done an awfully good job of overriding logic and allowing you to be run by your own emotions. Do you understand that that's what they do? Right? They create a false world and a false narrative whose main goal is to have you operate with your emotions, generally fear. Just gave you the simple formula, folks. I mean, it was a lot more complicated, and I could sound real smart talking about it, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary. They craft a narrative that puts you in a state of fear, and it makes you more susceptible to their commands. It's trauma-based mind control. I talked about it before. You know how you stop it? You realize it. You realize, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. How come hydroxychloroquine's good now when it wasn't good before? But now it is good? You mean 1 mask, 2 masks, 3 masks, 4? 5 masks, 6 masks, 7 masks, more? I mean, how many masks are you going to have to wear? Pretty soon it's going to be, we've decided that it's a box of masks. We sent surveys around the world, talked to health experts all across the globe, and we came back, and the most common answer was a box of masks. That's what you need to wear, a box. That's next, an entire box. Now, you'll have to take them out of the box, of course, but a box of masks. How long before a box of masks are what you have to wear? That's the minimum, a box. A box. How long before you have to walk around in a bubble with some air filter that just comes out as you just breathing? Like Darth Vader. How long before that? You might as well. I mean, you know, they can get you to do anything else. They can get you to do anything else because you comply. All right, folks, this is all I got for today. I appreciate you looking into the show. I will keep on top of the apparent, seemingly clandestine military movements here going on in Kalispell, although maybe it's not that. Maybe just guys crossing through, but we had some reports of some military here earlier. Here, it may probably still are here, but, you know, I don't know if anything's going on. I just don't know. But if it does, I will certainly try to report on it. We do appreciate you looking in here on the show, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaGazetteRadio.com. MontanaDailyGazette.com is the actual name of the website. Or you can, of course, always go to the flagship northwestlibertynews.com and check out what we got going on there. We do appreciate your support. We are completely supported by you, the listener, and we always give you a great amount of thanks for all the support you give us, and we do appreciate that. Thanks so much for looking in here. Back tomorrow with probably Gene Pringle, waiting to hear back from him. But for sure, we're having the round table tomorrow at noon with Kelly and Dave and Jason Q. Talk about what's going on. Appreciate you checking us out. Until next time, this is James White for Montana Gazette Radio, saying bye now.